Today we will focus on the word agency and what are the different elements to foster agency in PYP section. We'll look into that with few examples. Let's understand first what is agency. Everybody speaks about agency. Everybody speaks about implementing agency, giving agency, but what is it and how do we go about it? Let's understand. Introduction to agency. So, in PYP, agency means that the students take responsibility of their learning. They make choice, take action, and reflect on their learning. When the students make choices, they take action, and they reflect on their learning, we are catering to the needs of agency, giving agency to our learners. The very first thing which we can do is acting with autonomy. What it means that making independent choices about learning. Why should we do that? To help students develop confidence and responsibility. And one of the example would be in a writing process, like if the students have the choice to select their own topic for writing a personal narrative, then we are giving them autonomy, we are giving them some agency. Demonstrating drive. It means showing motivation and persistence in learning. This will help students and encourage them to have a growth mindset and show continuous improvement. For example, in math, our students keep solving a particular problem in different ways until they understand it. If we give them this opportunity, they will learn how to use agency. Striving for mastery is another way, which means trying to get better at something after efforts. So, this will encourage students to refine their skills and knowledge. How do we do that? For example, in an art class, they practice shading technique until they create depth in drawing. The fourth one is building social alliance. So, this is basically collaborating and working well with others. This helps students to learn from each other and develop teamwork skills. And how do we do that? In a buddy reading session, older students read with younger students to support them. Being reflective, this is about thinking, learning experiences, and how to improve them. And this encourages our students to learn from the mistakes and successes. How do we do that? A student who struggles with multiplication reflects on what strategy helped them the most to learn it. Encouraging or engaging in dialogues. So, having a meaningful conversation to share and build ideas, it means that. And it helps our learners to develop communication and listening skills. How do we do that? In a class discussion, students ask thoughtful questions instead of just giving answers. Acting with courage, it means that taking risk and trying new things, even if they are scary. This will build resilience and confidence in our learners. How do we do that? A shy student volunteers to present in front of the class, and this will most of the time depend upon your class culture. Being open to the new. Again, a striker, being curious and willing to explore new ideas. This will help students to learn to adapt for different perspectives. How do we do that? In a unit about culture, for example, students taste different traditional food and discuss their experiences. Developing skills or craft. This is about practicing to become better at something specific. This will help our students to gain expertise and confidence. How do we do that? For example, a student practices coding to build their own game in ICT class, or in PE, they repeatedly practices dribbling to improve their basketball skills. Generating feedback loops. This is receiving and using feedback to improve learning. Why do we do that? To help our students refine their work based on constructive suggestions. How do we do that? In a science project, they adjust their experiment after pre peer feedback to make it more accurate. Or a student edits their writing based on the teacher's comment, peer feedback before submitting the final draft. Ma- Managing ambiguity or uncertainty. Being okay with not knowing everything right away. This will encourage problem solving and perseverance. How do we do that? A student explores different way to solve a problem puzzle instead of waiting for the teacher to answer. Or during the inquiry based learning, they research multiple resources for reaching a conclusion or to form a generalization. Using resources, finding and using valuable tools effectively helps students to become independent learners. How do we do that? Our students uses books, websites, videos, or interviews to research an inquiry topic. Or in a science experiment, they refer to past results and videos to refine their method. When we basically do all these things, or when we create opportunities for the learners in our planning using all these things, we are actually giving them agency. This will encourage agency in learning, and it will help the students to take charge of their education. So, by fostering these 12 elements, we support students in becoming independent, curious, motivated learners, and in no time you will see that they are exhibiting, they are confident enough to display their skills, to showcase their learner profiles in the teaching and learning process. Thank you so much. Have a good day.